Before David from Trafford speaks, there is one announcement that I'd like to make. A gentleman over there, I believe you're from Bury, if you'd like to stand up. He's from Bury, from a particular campaign?
We're just starting off one, but we think there may be other people here who we don't know.
Okay, yeah, so the announcement is that if anybody's from Bury, if you could make your way to this gentleman after the sessions, that would be great, thank you. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce David from Trafford. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Matthew Finnegan, some of you know, was due to speak here. Family bereavement has prevented that. He obviously sends apology. He's a fighter. Those of you that know him will know that to be very true. And if he were here, he would be passionately encouraging all of us to be focusing on practical step-by-step action. I'm going to do the same, but in my style. Karen Resman, at the beginning of today, one of the things she picked up on was this, this notion that A&Es weren't necessarily needed in their current form because of this phrase, avoidable crisis. Patients who shouldn't really be ill or in an accident or an emergency or somehow avoid it. So I want us to dwell on that phrase, avoidable crisis, and that is what we are now facing. This is an avoidable crisis for our NHS. But we have to focus. I daily, weekly, I'm constantly battling this thing of, oh my God, there's just so much going on, and it's like, it's just too big, and it's like, there's a million fires on all at the same time. So all you can do is, right, well, I am just one person, so I will do my bit. And I hope others do their bit, and then if enough of us do our bit, then, a few dozen, a few hundred, a few thousand, you know where this is going, then, you build up the numbers. So, focusing on the pressure points. So, I have a particular preference for creative and energetic action. That's one of many styles, and you need a mix. But I would certainly encourage everyone to include that in their specific toolkit. What are we doing that includes creative and energetic action? That's the first one. Actually, it's a prelude. Now I'm going to go to the first one. The first one is this. The only option we have is people power. That's where I've arrived at with my thinking and going through the whole Trafford General experience and all of that. Until that penny drops, a lot of time can be wasted. So I don't want us to waste more time than we need to, so I would encourage you, accept that. The only option now is people power. Improved and not removed. These campaigns are not about saying, no, 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 leave things as they are, please, don't touch it, we're happy as we are. We're not happy as we are. What we're saying is we want them improved, not removed. So that was a phrase we used in the Trafford General campaign. I encourage you to do similar or likewise. Up there, you'll see the Save Our Hospital placard. You can't see it unless you've got really good eyes or a telescope, but in the detail, that's what 12,000 little miniature hands looks like in the detail. Save Our Hospital. We got 12,500, as it turned out, in sleepy Trafford, signing a paper petition, and that's just represented. We took that down to Downing Street, where we handed in the petition as well, just to say, no one's listening, there you go, David Cameron, Jeremy Hunt, this is what the people are saying, loud and clear. What you are doing to our A&E is ill thought through, and is going to cause problems. Please don't do it. Listen to what we're saying. It's a mixed bag, but what you're doing, the plans you're putting forward are wrong. So petition. That's one very practical piece of advice. Some of you are already doing it, those who haven't. It's a great way of engaging with the local people in conversation, and then they talk to their neighbours, and then some of them get on their Facebooks and their Twitters and their emails and whatever, but meeting the people so that they can start to find out. I didn't even know anything had happened or was happening at Trafford General until the first time that Joe Harding, Matt Finnegan, George Devlin and others turned up outside the local supermarket in Urnston there saying, we've got a petition. I wasn't there, in fact, it was my wife. She came home and she said, guess what's happening? So I got on the phone and got involved. That's how people can find out. We don't all read local newspapers. We don't all hear the local news if they can be bothered to do it. We don't all like the idea of just picking up leaflets from random strangers. But when you see a queue of people signing a petition outside your supermarket with a life-size skeleton and some interest in music and that, people want to know what's going on. So again, that's my suggestion. So that's the first one. People power is the only option. The second one, in facing off these proposals that are being put forward, and each one will be maybe a slightly different flavour, but in facing off these proposals, what we found is that there are what I call the key three dimensions that need to be focused on, because it can be very difficult to try and grab it all as one big amorphous jelly thing that they're just pushing forward. The first one is money. No surprises. Our experience in Trafford was that those people put forward the proposals suffered from a severe case of spreadsheetitis. They couldn't get their head around the basic notion that when you changed this previous change, you took out X million pounds, you moved it from this spreadsheet, the Trafford one, and you gave it to this other spreadsheet over here. Now you're saying, oh, look at all this red ink over here. Yeah, but the black ink's over there. It's the same, you just moved it. You just moved it. So why don't you accept that it's a combined thing? Or are you now saying, oh, they just swallowed all that up now, sorry, we've spent that, you're still in the shit, and there's nothing we can do about it. Spreadsheetitis is a biggie. These doctors, not all of them, some notable exceptions, I'm sure David is definitely amongst the notable exceptions, but the ones we've come across are financially illiterate. And that's because they, quite rightly, are busy being clinical experts. And that's right, that's the way things should be. But now that they're being involved in these proposals, that's not good enough. They have to listen carefully to the financial arguments. And spreadsheetitis is a classic. The money's over there, not over here, so now you're in trouble. PFI, we've welcomed this morning, absolutely scandalous. PFI stands for Planned Future Insolvency. That's what PFI is. And it's a deliberate parasite. It's a deliberate parasite sucking out loan shark rates indefinitely. If you don't like that one, PFI also stands for Public Fleeced Indefinitely. That works as well. But that's exactly what it is. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Bank of England at our disposal, more or less, and we still think it's a good idea to hand money over, hand over fist, to these entities, dodging tax, tax havens, all the rest of it. It's an absolute scandal. And every politician, Labour Party, I don't care what colour you are, if you don't see that PFI is a scandal, we are all in serious trouble. The money pressure is used as an effective tool to get the compliance from clinicians and managers. They are told, they know the cuts are coming. Who wants to be a clinician left holding the baby when there's no resources to do the job that they want to do? They're scared of being left without the resources to do safe practice. So the money piece needs to be hit first. The second one then is the health arguments. They are a mixed bag. There are clear health arguments for things and clear health arguments against things, but what we found is no evidence, just opinion and judgment. No evidence, and in fact evidence to the contrary, but that was all washed aside. The argument was Trafford is too small for clinicians' egos because they didn't want to work there. They wanted to work in the shiny centres of excellence. That's what we were told. Well, we can't get them to work here. Well, they work for us, and now they work for Central Manchester. You tell them where they work. It shouldn't really be up to them to decide where they want to work in that way as we were told. Paper plans aren't reality. If the plans that they put forward now were good, then we wouldn't be in this mess. Now, in the case of Trafford, plans aren't what's going to happen, so you need to argue that. But the biggie here is democracy. Democracy and accountability. That is the biggie you have to really go for. You have to get the public on your side, and you have to get the councillors to see that. Right now, we have a situation in Trafford where 12,500 people signed a petition representing pretty much everybody, in Trafford, we had 100% of councillors of all colour, blue, red, yellow, whatever.
Asian.
Yeah. Skin colour as well? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, all of that. Political parties, 100% of them opposed to it. And the MPs, eventually, by the end of it, all opposed to it. And yet, the NHS side of the argument, the decision-making proposal says there is no alternative, we have to proceed. Now, what kind of country is this in 2013 when that can happen, when it's left to Jeremy Hunt to decide the fate of my local hospital and the lives of me and my family, and the implications for everybody around? So I'll finish with this thought. We are facing, at a local and a national level, is the big lie that there is no money and there's no alternative. But it's about priorities, and it's about abuse of power. So I would say that right now, go to the safetraffordgeneral.com website for inspiration, for information, and others, the Bolton A&E and all of those. See what people are doing, catch up with that. And there is practical help available. There's offers of practical help, including money for meetings, for leaflets, all of that. Don't be shy. Get involved. Democracy is not a spectator sport, and this is an avoidable crisis.